Welcome back Suikoden fans, this is Hellfire RPGs and you're watching part 2 of my True Rune analysis. Sorry it took so long, but here it finally is. Let's get straight into it. Very little is known about the True Earth Rune, which of course governs the earth and soil. Years ago, Sasari was created by Hikusaki as a clone to host the True Earth Rune. We first see this rune during the Dunan Unification War when Sasari uses it to escape Luck's attack. It once again makes an appearance during the events of Suikoden 3 where Luck takes it from Sasari to use it as part of his plan to destroy the True Wind Rune. This obviously didn't go so well and the True Earth Rune was once again reunited with Sasari. The True Wind Rune was held by Harmonia for years until Luck was created by Hikusaki to bear the rune. However, this process went pear-shaped and the rune became intertwined with Luck's soul. Because of this failed experiment, Luck was thrown into the catacombs of one temple where he was confined as a mere storage vessel for the True Wind Rune. Here, Lacknight felt sorry for him so she rescued Luck and took him to Magician's Island. During the events of Suikoden 2, Luck was tasked to assist Rue's army and eventually used his True Wind Rune to decimate Sasari's army. However, as Luck's soul was intertwined with the rune, he eventually saw visions of the Grey World, which is a desolate, empty future. This future would be the end of the world, void of all life. Luck saw these visions as a result of the 27 True Runes uniting, so his ultimate goal then became to change the future by destroying the True Wind Rune. This was the main focus of the events of Suikoden 3. As we know, Luck was not successful with this plan, and it is unclear what happened to the True Wind Rune after Luck's death. Not too much is known about the True Water Rune. At some point it was obtained by Wyatt Lightfellow and then used in the First Firebringer War. After the war, with the help of the Almakenan clan, Wyatt chose to seal the rune away. Then of course, during the events of Suikoden 3, Wyatt attempted to reclaim it but failed. However, just after his death, his daughter Chris accepted the rune. And just to clear things up, according to the Suikoden 3 manga, Hugo took the role of the Flame Champion with Chris and Geto bearing the True Water and True Lightning runes. The True Fire Rune was once in the possession of Harmonia but was stolen by the Flame Champion 50 years prior to Suikoden 3. The Flame Champion used this rune to aid the Grasslands in the struggle against Harmonia, but unfortunately the rune went out of control during the final battle, decimating both forces and ending the war. After this destruction, the Flame Champion chose to seal the rune away in his hideaway. Here it lay dormant for 50 years until the events of Suikoden 3 where it was unsealed by Hugo, who was the current bearer of the rune. Next, we have the True Lightning Rune. In the past, it was the treasure of a nation that was destroyed by Harmonia. However, Geto managed to escape this destruction of his hometown with the True Rune. Geto then used the power of the True Lightning Rune in both of the Grassland Wars. After the first war, he chose to keep it hidden, even from his own squad, in order to stay under the radar of Harmonia and any others who may have been after the rune. He then, of course, revealed the rune during the events of Suikoden 3 and used it to help the Firebringer army defeat the Harmonians. Just like the Sovereign Rune, the Night Rune has also taken the form of a sword, the Star Dragon Sword, or the Sword of Night according to Xerace. It is said that this rune has the power of the darkness of night, as well as the ability to see through the darkness in people's hearts. It is believed that the Night Rune has taken on the form of the Star Dragon Sword in order to defeat the vampires that the Moon Rune created. I think the most interesting thing about the Night Rune is its ability to verbally communicate with others. During the events of Suikoden 1, it was found in the Cave of the Past by Tur, and the rune agreed to lend its powers so that they could defeat Necklord, who possessed the Moon Rune. Apart from the short time that it resided in the Cave of the Wind, the Star Dragon Sword was in Victor's possession through the events of Suikoden 1 and 2, where it helped him defeat Necklord on multiple occasions. Following this, it remained with Victor as he travelled the world with Flick. This was until Victor loaned the sword to Edge, who used it to defeat the vampire who attacked his village. After this, Victor returned to Dunan and left the sword in Edge's possession, probably because he was sick of its attitude. The Star Dragon Sword doesn't play a key role in Suikoden 3, but after the events of the game, it travels south with Edge, seeking out an unnamed enemy. The Gate rune has been prominent in the Suikoden series. It has the power to open up portals to other worlds as well as summon powerful beings from parallel dimensions. In the early days, it was protected by the Gate Rune clan in Gate Rune Village. However, after Hikosak ordered Harmonia to seize the rune, Gate Rune clan members Windy and Leknat split the rune into two, front and back, and escaped the Harmonian invasion. During the events of Suikoden 1, Windy used the front half of the rune to summon 80,000 monsters from the world of emptiness, but they were eventually sent back by Leknat and Joshua. The rune also exhibits the power of resurrection as seen in Suikoden 1, where Leknat used her half of the rune to bring Gremio back to life, but these events then weakened the rune's power. Currently, Leknat is still in possession of the back half, but the front half has been lost since Windy fell to her death at the end of Suikoden 1. But perhaps she isn't dead, her and her rune may still be out there somewhere. The Sun rune governs the power of the sun and holds an incredible amount of destructive power, possibly more than any other known true rune. This rune has traditionally been the property of the Queendom of Felina, sealed away in the Sun Palace due to the belief that it was far too powerful to be controlled by one person. There are a lot of legends surrounding this one, the first being that it was once synchronized with the Night rune. It is said that at one point the Night rune abandoned the Sun rune, which led to the Dawn and Twilight runes being used to keep the Sun rune's power in balance. Another legend is that it was the Sun rune's immense, uncontrollable power that destroyed the Ancient Arms dynasty. Here, there was a Sindar survivor that emerged from the destruction, bearing the rune. This Sindar survivor is said to be the founder of the Queendom of Felina. The sheer power of this rune is made quite clear in Suikoden 5, with Arnef becoming more and more violent and unstable due to her inability to control it. After the events of Suikoden 5, the rune was once again sealed away in the Sun Palace, where it currently remains. The Sovereign rune is an heirloom of the Rungar family that has been passed down for generations. The rune itself is embedded into the Dragon King sword, which is wielded by the leader of the Scarlet Moon Empire. This sword and rune was claimed by Barbarossa Rungar after defeating his uncle during the War of Succession 7 years prior to the events of Suikoden 1. This rune protects its bearer from all forms of magic, and we see this with Barbarossa's immunity to the coercion of Windy's Conqueror rune. At the end of the Liberation War of Suikoden 1, when Tur and the Liberation Army marched into Greg-Minister Palace, Barbarossa used the Sovereign rune to transform into a three-headed golden hydra. When he was defeated, he leapt from the floating garden, never to be seen again. It's unknown what happened next, but since his body was never actually found, perhaps he survived the fall, then went into hiding with the rune in his possession. Looks like we'll never know. We all know the Soul Eater rune, which is also known as the Rune of Life and Death. This rune is known to seek people close to its bearer in order to eat their souls, which is why so many people close to its bearer end up dead. This is why I think that out of all of the true runes, the Soul Eater would be the biggest burden to bear. The Soul Eater was kept in the village of the Hidden Rune until a few hundred years ago when Windy, Necklaw and Ubro destroyed the village. This forced Ted's grandpa to pass the rune on to Ted, which led him to travel around the world in hiding. However, the rune eventually wore Ted down and he chose to hand the rune over to the mysterious fog ship. This was of course until the events of Suikoden 4, where Ted regained the power of the rune, helped in the war between the island nations and Kuluk, and then returned to his nomadic life. Sometime later, Ted befriended Tur McDowell, and then came the events of Suikoden 1. Windy once again appeared to take the rune, and Ted was forced to hand it to Tur. As is the nature of the rune, the Soul Eater brought death to those around the bearer, including Odessa, Tio, Gremio, and its former bearer, Ted. One thing interesting about this rune is that it seems to absorb the souls of those who die around it. This is evident at the end of Suikoden 1 when the souls of Ted, Gremio, Tio and Odessa unite to repel Windy's attempt to obtain the Soul Eater. After Suikoden 1, Tur and Gremio decide to travel the world together, with the Soul Eater still in Tur's possession. I really wish I could keep going, but that now concludes all of the known true runes. There are another 9 out there, but the fact that we'll probably never know about them is honestly more devastating than the Sun rune's attack on the Ancient Arms dynasty. If you like this video, hit like, share it with your Suikoden friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more Suikoden and RPG content. This was Hellfire RPGs, see you next time.